Billionaires. They are the titans of our modern age, wielding power and influence that can shape the world in ways we can barely comprehend. They launch themselves into space not just as a hobby, but as a statement of their limitless reach and ambition. It's a new frontier, and they are the pioneers. They buy social media platforms on a whim, transforming the way we communicate and consume information. With a single transaction, they can alter the digital landscape. They're undeniably fascinating, but are they also a potential security threat? Their decisions can ripple through economies and societies, raising questions about accountability and control. It's a question worth considering, not to demonize wealth, but to understand its impact on our world. Wealth in itself is not inherently good or bad, but its concentration in the hands of a few can have profound implications. After all, concentrated power, even in the hands of well-intentioned individuals, can pose risks. The decisions made in boardrooms can affect millions, if not billions, of lives. The sheer scale of billionaire wealth is staggering. It's not just about the money, but what that money represents: opportunity, influence, and control. $1 billion is hard to even fathom. It's a number so large that it becomes almost abstract, a symbol of ultimate financial power. Now imagine having hundreds, even thousands of billions. This kind of wealth is not just about personal luxury, it's about the ability to shape entire industries and influence global events. This kind of wealth translates into immense influence, touching every aspect of our lives, from politics to the media we consume. Their reach extends into the very fabric of our society. And that's where things get interesting and potentially a little worrying. The concentration of so much power in so few hands raises important questions about the future of democracy, equity, and justice. As we move forward, it's crucial to consider how this wealth is wielded and what it means for the rest of us.
Money talks. That's not exactly news. But when billionaires whisper, political systems often seem to listen very, very closely. Campaign contributions, lobbying efforts, and even direct access to elected officials give the ultra-wealthy an outsized voice in shaping laws and policies. This isn't to say that all billionaires are nefarious puppet masters, but the potential for conflicts of interest is undeniable. When personal fortunes become intertwined with political power, it's easy to see how the needs of the many might take a back seat to the desires of the few.
Economic inequality is a complex issue, but there's no denying it's been on the rise. The gap between the super rich and everyone else has been widening for decades. This disparity can lead to social unrest, political instability, and a decline in trust in institutions. When a small percentage of the population holds a disproportionate share of the wealth, it can create a sense of resentment and unfairness. This can manifest in many ways, from protests and social movements to a rise in crime and political extremism. A society with extreme wealth disparity is often a society on edge.
Billionaires don't just influence our governments, they influence our minds. Ownership of media outlets, from newspapers to social media platforms, gives them the power to shape public discourse. This control over information can be used to promote specific agendas, silence dissenting voices, and influence public opinion. Imagine a world where the news you consume, the entertainment you enjoy, and the information you access online is all filtered through the lens of a select few billionaires. It's a concerning thought, and one that becomes increasingly relevant as more and more media becomes concentrated in fewer and fewer hands.
Section 5. Policy by the wealthy for the wealthy. Tax loopholes, deregulation, and policies that favor the wealthy are often championed by those who benefit most from them. Billionaires, with their vast resources and influence, can lobby for laws that increase their wealth, even if those laws are detrimental to the common good. This isn't to say that all wealthy individuals advocate for self-serving policies, but the potential for abuse is clear. When the rules are written by those with the most to gain, it's often the rest of us who are left footing the bill.
Section 6. A world of oligarchs. Some argue that the rise of billionaires is leading to a new form of oligarchy, where a small group of ultra-wealthy individuals wield disproportionate power and influence. This concentration of power in the hands of a select few can undermine democratic principles and erode public trust in institutions. While this might sound like the plot of a dystopian novel, it's a concern that many experts and academics are increasingly voicing. The question is, how do we ensure a fair and equitable society when so much power and influence is concentrated in the hands of so few? Historically, we've seen similar patterns during the Gilded Age, where industrial magnates held sway over vast swathes of the economy and politics. Today, the tech giants and financial moguls are the new power brokers, shaping everything from market trends to public policy. Their influence extends beyond traditional realms, permeating social media and digital landscapes, affecting how we think, act, and even vote. Yet, amidst this concentration of power, grassroots movements and community initiatives are rising, challenging the status quo and advocating for more inclusive governance. Innovative solutions are being proposed, from wealth taxes to campaign finance reforms, aimed at redistributing power and ensuring a more balanced society. International cooperation is also crucial, as the issues of wealth concentration and oligarchy are not confined to any one nation, but are global in scope. Ultimately, the goal is to create a world where future generations can thrive in a fair and just society, free from the undue influence of a powerful few. Ensuring the integrity of democratic processes and institutions is paramount in this endeavor. It requires the collective effort of individuals, communities, and leaders to foster a culture of transparency, accountability, and equity. Only then can we hope to dismantle the structures of oligarchy and build a world that truly reflects the values of democracy and fairness.
Section 7. The limits of philanthropy. Some argue that billionaires' philanthropic endeavors mitigate the potential risks posed by their wealth and influence. While charitable giving can undoubtedly have a positive impact, it's important to remember that philanthropy is not a substitute for fair taxation and equitable policies. Furthermore, philanthropy itself can be a tool for shaping the world in the image of the giver. It's crucial to examine the motives behind charitable acts and to ensure that philanthropy serves the common good, not just the interests of the wealthy.
Section 8. The need for regulation. To address the potential security threats posed by billionaires, some argue for stronger regulations on campaign finance, lobbying, and media ownership. The goal is to create a more level playing field and prevent the undue influence of wealth on politics and society. This isn't about punishing success or demonizing wealth. It's about ensuring that everyone has a fair shot and that the rules of the game aren't rigged in favor of a select few.
Section 9. A question of balance. The relationship between wealth, power, and security is complex. There are no easy answers or quick fixes. It's a delicate balancing act requiring careful consideration and ongoing dialogue. We need to find ways to harness the positive potential of wealth creation, while mitigating the risks it poses to our democratic institutions and social fabric. This requires open and honest conversations about the role of wealth in society and the kind of world we want to create. Section 10. The future of democracy. As we stand at the crossroads of history, the future of democracy is a topic that demands our utmost attention and reflection. The question of whether billionaires pose a security threat is ultimately a question about the future of democracy itself. In a world where wealth is increasingly concentrated in the hands of a few, the balance of power is shifting in ways that could undermine the very foundations of democratic governance. Can a system designed to represent the interests of all its citizens survive the immense concentration of wealth and power in the hands of a few? This is not just a theoretical question, it has real-world implications for the lives of millions. The growing economic disparity raises concerns about social justice, equality, and the ability of ordinary people to have their voices heard. This is a question that each generation must grapple with. From the civil rights movements of the past to the social justice campaigns of today, every era has faced its own challenges in striving to create a more inclusive and fair society. It's a question that demands our attention, our critical thinking, and our active participation in shaping a just and equitable future. We must engage in open dialogue, educate ourselves and others, and take action to ensure that democracy remains a system that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. The answers we find will determine not just the fate of billionaires, but the fate of us all. Our collective future hinges on our ability to address these pressing issues with wisdom, compassion, and a commitment to the common good. The future of democracy is in our hands, and it is up to us to shape it for the better.